You are about to listen to a Jason Burgos exclusive interview.
Hi, Jason. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm always excited to talk to you. You're the only fighter in the last year I've actually talked to 3 times, other than Lewis Taylor, because your answers are always so honest and true and genuine. So I'm always excited about talking to you. Now I'll jump right into it. I got a lot of questions. I am sure people might have asked variation of this question because you probably got a lot of interviews, but um, to go to your home state, which hasn't had major MMA in years, headline the event against a well-respected former UFC title challenger and defend your title, do you feel that moment in Honolulu may never be topped in your career?
100%. I think that was my career high. That was the peak of it. I can retire happy now. Really, I'd always think that I'm like, how are you ever going to top that moment? And I joke about it. I'm like, okay, maybe if I have a baby or something. But yeah, I mean, I really don't know how it's going to top it.
Now, how long did it take? How long did it take to come down off of that kind of a high? I mean, how long did you celebrate in the days after such a monumental career moment?
Oh, I'm still coming down from it. I honestly haven't even recovered from it. Yeah, it was 4 months ago, but people are still talking about it. Every time I rewatch that fight or the walkout, I still get emotional and start crying. So it's definitely, I'm still feeling the after effects of it. But yeah, the immediate days afterwards and even the immediate weeks was just a whirlwind. It was crazy. I think I didn't really get to unplug until I went to Cuba, and that was because Cuba doesn't have any internet, so I was I was able to finally unplug. But yeah, it's still definitely there.
What was Cuba like? Because that's one of my bucket list places to visit. What was that vacation like?
Oh, it was super awesome. I mean, it's it's a developing country, and it really does feel like you're kind of going back in time with all the classic cars. But historically, it was the most interesting country that I've been to. But seeing like on one side of the street is a beautiful hotel and all these nice touristy places, and then on the other side of the street is just straight poverty. It was crazy. But yeah, I would say definitely try to go to Cuba as soon as you can, before it starts changing, because they just started getting internet there. And so I'm you can definitely see the changes happening.
Now, on the fight itself, Letourneau was for sure giving you a very difficult fight. I could be wrong, but I believe John McCarthy had Valerie up heading into that third round, 2-0. And as the fight was playing out and you had issues getting her down and getting favorable positions, did some concern creep into your mind at all, or did you remain focused and felt a moment would eventually come like it did eventually in the third?
So, I was actually really calm the entire fight, even though I was in one bad position. I believe it was in the second round. She had me against the cage and she was throwing some punches. Honestly, I wasn't nervous because I thought that she was more nervous than I was. She was really tentative. I was expecting her to come out and be slowing down, but for some reason she seemed really tentative. I mean, in my opinion, about her striking. And also when I felt one of her punches, and this is by no means a jab at her, no pun intended, or anything, but it just wasn't that hard. And I get nervous when somebody can hit really hard,
right? But
it didn't feel hard at all. And I was like, oh, that's all she got from me? All right, I'm good. So I wasn't really that nervous. I get hit in the face every day by Liz Carnouche, and I know no human being will ever punch me as hard as Liz does. So, yeah, I was good during the fight.
They often say, at a fight of this level, championship fights, or just high level fighters, that there's always that respect, and maybe some people are telling them, do you feel on that level, maybe her tentativeness is because your reputation is starting to precede you, and maybe she just had a respect? You're like, I need to feel her out a little bit because she's very good.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and I also think, I really do think that the crowd that night maybe got a little bit to her. It was, when she walked out, dude, it was dead silent. It's almost like I would almost, in her position, I would have preferred booing, or like at least doing something from the crowd, but it was just dead ass quiet, like almost awkward. And so like, I feel like, I mean, if I were her, I would have felt like really, really in a really weird position that night. So part of me thinks that might have been why, like, something just seemed off for her.
Right.
I could be totally wrong, but that was just my perspective.
Now, speaking of like the walkout and the entrance, I mean, when you made the walk to the cage, and you already referenced it, you were emotional, which was touching, but also has to be difficult when you're about to go into a fist fight. Was it difficult to refocus, and did you worry at all you might get thrown off your game because of how big the moment was? Or, I mean, you just mentioned before you were very focused, weren't nervous. Do you maybe feel like kind of you released some tension from the emotion?
Yeah, a lot of people were concerned that I was a little bit too emotional walking out there, but I actually get emotional for a lot of my walkouts. Like the fight right before that at Pechanga Casino, I also was getting teary-eyed walking out, so it's something that I'm kind of used to. And yeah, I've trained myself. I've visualized the moment that, like, as soon as I step on that cage, as soon as I feel the canvas underneath my feet, it just switches back on. Then it's game time. So yeah, I've been able to train myself to do that. Enjoy the moment while I walk out there, and feel the vibes of the crowd, cry if I want to, cheer if I want to, but the minute I step inside the cage, then all right, baby, let's go.
Now, the fight seemed like, honestly, like a pivotal growth moment in your career. You dealt with huge amounts of media attention and responsibilities. You dealt with the emotion of such a big moment in your home state. Then you defended your title decisively against an opponent you respected very much, and many felt had a serious chance of beating you. Did you prove a lot to yourself on that night, and do you feel you came out the other side an even better, more mature fighter?
Totally. I mean, I definitely proved not just to everybody that was watching, but myself the most. Because I wasn't sure. My head was all over the place before this fight. I'm just like, am I ready? Am I ready for an opponent like Valerie Letourneau? Am I ready for this, type of stardom, like my hometown crowd, headline? It was just so many thoughts were running through my head. And the fact that I was able to do all of that and, come out with the win and a finish, like a pretty sick finish, like it proved more so to myself that, yes, I do belong there and I can do it. So, yeah, I was my own biggest critic, so, it was very, very validating for myself.
And when I talked to you before that fight, you were confident, but you were honest. You didn't want to necessarily stand with her. You wanted to go to your advantages and stuff like that. And now you mentioned that you were, you had your thoughts of, can I get to that next level? How do you combat something like that because in any athletic endeavor, especially fight sports, especially individualistic sport like this, you need confidence is key. How do you maintain that confidence, or is it something all fighters go through that they don't say, and you're just being honest, and you just kind of have to get in there, do it, and build that confidence that way?
Yeah, I mean, it really just comes with repetition and experience. And so obviously you can't maybe you can repeat fight all the time,
right,
and fight as many times as you can, but more so it's, you have to train your mind with that repetition. So lots and lots of visualization. I work with a sports psychologist. I actually see a shamanic healer who is a hypnotherapist. I go to another form of therapy, which is a sweat lodge from the Lakota tradition. So there's just a lot of things that help me to train my mind and my spirit so that, when I do fight, it's like I've been there before. So yeah, again, it comes with experience, and it comes with repetition.
Now, in that same conversation, I threw out the idea of who you could fight next if you were to get past Valerie, and you suggested Veta Arteaga, and now you are getting her. Now, this is a whole different situation from the last fight. You are in the co-main event, still a main spot, but it's different from being in the main event against an opponent who, while definitely legitimate, you will likely be a big favorite over coming off of that last win, especially. Tell me if or why Arteaga could be as dangerous as Valerie Letourneau.
So I actually think that Veta is the most dangerous opponent that I've ever faced.
Okay.
Because she is the most aggressive, in your face, zero F given fighter that I've ever gone against. And she does not let anything intimidate her. She doesn't let the bright lights intimidate her, her opponent. Getting punched in the face, she'll have her face split open, and she'll still be like, oh, I don't care, and still come forward. So I actually think that she is the most dangerous opponent that I've been matched up with. And and I'm not just saying that because I think all my opponents are dangerous. I really, truly mean that. Even though on paper it looks like, and with the odds, it looks like I'm going to be the favorite, that totally doesn't matter.
Now, I mean, and she's like a very meat and potato sort of fighter. There's not a lot of flash to her game. She necessarily isn't exceptional at a specific martial art, but she's very tough, very well-rounded. And her calling card for sure is her pace and output, like you mentioned, aggression. She puts up the pace. She's very active. Similar, she reminds me a lot of like Emmanuel Sanchez from the featherweight division. Have you prepared any differently for her and her specific skill set?
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot of my training partners, they mimicked her style. They came forward with the 3-2-3-2 that she really likes to throw. And they just constantly pushed forward no matter what. Constant pressure. So we definitely prepared for that. And we also prepared for when we do get her to the ground, stabilizing the position, securing the position, because she's so scrambly on the ground that a lot of people had a problem keeping her down, or if they went for a submission, they went too early for the submission rather than securing the position, and they lost it. So, well, as far as my ground game went, it was all about just controlling on the ground, tiring her out and wearing her out.
Now, in the last conversation, too, you talked about you developing more of your kicks, and it showed in the Letourneau fight. You did throw some kicks. Is that a skill set you're continually still evolving, and we should expect to see even more from that?
Oh, yeah. Like, I always would joke around that I do not kick at all. And so the fact that I even threw kicks, and we did not prepare kicks for the Valerie fight either. That came out of nowhere. Even my coaches were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, but it was landing. So, they didn't tell me to like not kick or anything, but, it was just something that I felt was right to do. So, this camp, I definitely evolved in that sense. Like, we have been working a lot of Muay Thai for this camp just because it's like my boxing feels good, my boxing's solid, my ground game's always going to be there. So we're like, all right, what can we implement now? For my growth as a martial artist and a fighter. And we're like, all right, let's start throwing some kicks, maybe some elbows.
Now, your star after each fight, and even more so after each title defense, continues to grow. You're in a unique situation that not many athletes, male or female, go through. You're young, you're attractive, super talented, a champion, very likable. I'm sure each day more and more people and businesses want a piece of the growing MacFarlane brand and are stroking your ego for your favor. How do you keep your mind focused and yourself humble so you don't lose that great edge you have right now? I mean, is it because you are still, kind of blown away by the position you're in and you don't take it for granted? Is it, the people you surround yourself with? What is it that, what do you do to keep yourself focused?
Oh, it's totally the people that I surround myself with. It's my team and my coaches and my family. Max Holloway, he actually gave a really great interview the other day where somebody asked him the same question. He's like, if I acted the way that other champions had acted,
Mm-hmm.
I would get kicked off my team immediately. And that's exactly how it is for me. My coaches will put me in check so fast. I call them my gym dads. And they'll put me in check so fast that I don't even dare to, act like other fighters do. And so yeah, it's definitely the people I choose to be in my life and surround me with are the ones that keep me grounded.
Could you give me the names of your gym dads so I can add it to the article?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's Bill Crawford,
Mm-hmm.
Manolo Hernandez,
Mm-hmm.
and Richie Boogeyman Martinez.
All right. Now the last question is, I follow you on Instagram, so I saw the videos before the Letourneau fight. I think it's some after you doing training in deep underwater pools and stuff like that. Talk to me about that form of training, its benefits, and is it as hard as it looks to do?
Oh, okay. So this is like a game changer. I actually started, I implemented this underwater training into my camp of getting ready for Bellator Hawaii. And it seriously is a game changer. So basically what it is, it was special ops Marine Raiders who were water survival instructors while they were in the Marines. They created this training regimen that initially was like to teach water confidence, and to prepare people for going into the military, and just to get like a fun workout in. And they started branching out to more and more elite athletes. And so I found out about this. I tried one session with them, and I was totally hooked. I used to actually swim laps before, but after I did one session with them, I was like, I am never swimming laps again. I am doing deep end fitness and underwater torpedo league. And basically, the gist of it is like the physical benefits that you receive from it include CO2 tolerance and VO2 max. So what that is when your muscles are working, CO2 is building up. That's the thing that's like, making your muscles burn, making them tired, making it so you can't lift your arms up. You feel all that lactic acid. And basically what's happening is that your muscles need oxygen. So a lot of times, when you see fighters gassing out and sucking wind, it's not necessarily their cardio, it's their muscle endurance. Their muscles are just fatiguing and they're not able to oxygenate it.
Right.
So training underwater, training your body to work using less oxygen increases your CO2 tolerance. So your muscles, they're going to get tired, but you're training your body to work through it. So that's just some of the physical benefits of it. We do a lot of breathing exercises, and breathing is one of the most essential things that you can do in sports, in our fight. That's why in between rounds you always hear the corner saying like, all right, calm your breathing down, get your heart rate back down. And so, and then aside from that, there's that mental game. There's a mental component to it, which is, I feel is the biggest benefit of all. It's like, being in a fight is super mentally taxing already, but being in a fight without an air source, like being underwater, is even crazier. You cannot panic. Panic just means death, basically. So just being able to train your mind is I think the biggest benefit. So it's a game changer. I'm excited to see where we go with it. A lot of fighters hit me up daily asking, all right, how do I get involved in this? So expect big things in the future from Underwater Torpedo League and Deep End Fitness.